the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that? It is Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie. It's your Thursday podcast, and today we're talking weddings. But there's always, when you look back on your wedding, you regret, obviously, the marriage. But you also, there's moments where you go, how did that person get an invite to my wedding?
Why did I invite that person?
Honestly, I've hated them for years, or you haven't spoken to them since.
Yeah.
I've got one bride is getting absolutely smashed on the internet for what she thought about her groom's request for someone to be at the wedding. You're going to hear that all in the podcast.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Dom Dolla, Aussie talent, what a great man. Do you know what? He's in the lineup for Coachella, also nominated for a Grammy. And I've got great news. He joins us now. How are you, buddy?
G'day, how are you?
Hello, buddy.
Hello, buddy.
You've always kept your feet grounded. That's what we love about you. And when you talk about your family and mates that you've grown up with, Dom, I mean, when you're performing at the Formula One in Las Vegas, you know, with Calvin Harris and Diplo,
God.
do you have mates from high school going, Dom, any chance I can get tickets to this one and tag along?
All the time. Well, isn't that the best thing about it? You get to give your mates from school tickets and bring them.
Entourage.
Have you... we talk about Leonardo DiCaprio sometimes, how he just rings mates out of the blue and goes, this weekend, jump on a plane, meet me in Vegas. Have you done that with mates before, Dom?
I actually met Leonardo DiCaprio at a party recently. And I was, let's say, drunk.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say drunk.
Yeah.
And I actually thought I was imagining him, but I wasn't imagining him.
Those mushrooms.
I've had those dreams as well.
No, that's different. Dom was actually meeting him in person. What did you say to him? Like, well, if you meet Leo, what's the conversation?
Well, I nearly called him Jack. That was...
You did not.
Awesome.
I called him Jack. I had to stop myself.
Nice bloke?
Absolutely lovely. Yeah. It was a legend of a bloke.
Well, there's a lot of celebrities that come to your gigs. They absolutely adore you when you're on stage. You command the crowd. One man that everyone is talking about who's a big fan of yours is Travis Kelce, who's just won his third Super Bowl as well. Has he been to quite a few of your gigs before, Dom?
Oh, yeah. He's been to heaps. He and I used to hang out a fair bit, especially before he met Taylor. But he's a huge house music fan. So he's a big boy. Like, I'm 6'1", he towers over me. He'd at least be like 6'5".
Because I saw you on his shoulders, Dom.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's that big. He can carry me.
Well, you'd rather that than the other way around. Do you want Travis on your shoulders?
Oh, God. He'd be thumping. He's a big boy.
I'd have a compressed spine, I reckon.
What's he like as a bloke? Because all we've seen really is Super Bowl celebration where it looks like he's tipped a few in and he's screaming into a microphone. But is there a quiet side that we haven't seen to Travis Kelce?
You know what he is? He's an honorary Aussie with an American accent. That's the way that I can describe him. He's just a larrikin.
He gets
and he's just up for a laugh, I think.
Dom, congratulations, man. It's been so good to see the rise of your career. And the big thing as well, Dom, you're playing a couple of shows in the Domain in November. If you haven't got your tickets yet, head to untitledgroup.com.au. And tickets to Dom Dolla's second Sydney show have nearly sold out, so get in quick. You're not just playing clubs anymore. You're playing these huge shows with 20, 30,000 people. Congratulations, mate. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, Dom.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Who did you waste an invite on at your wedding? And we all do this. You look back at photos and go, how the hell did they get an invite? Like, we hardly knew them. I haven't spoken to them for the last 10 years. But there's also people that sort of, on the day, might have a few too many drinks, take advantage of your full alcohol list that you have there and make a fool of themselves. Were you disgusted with their behaviour at your wedding, 13, 24, 10? A furious bride-to-be is getting absolutely lambasted on the internet at the moment because she's saying that her groom wanted to invite a friend and have a seat at the table. The thing is, the friend hasn't been with them for the last 6 years.
Right.
So this was to reserve a spot at a wedding for a friend who passed away 6 years ago. She says, while I understand the significance of honouring loved ones who have passed, the idea of dedicating a slot on our already very tight guest list to someone who won't physically be there just didn't sit right with me.
No, I mean, mention it in the speeches, I think. To have a spare seat there is probably a distraction on the day.
Yeah, or a little candle in the corner. You don't have to pay per head for that person. Are you paying for their dinner?
Who's going to eat his steak?
That's the thing. What is it? It's about $150 a head these days.
And
Isn't
the
it, for
bloody
someone?
rest, mate. Chicken or the beef.
Oh, I suppose at yours, yeah.
Do you know, we had a mate of mine, we had an awkward one where he recently got a new girlfriend. So he said, would you mind if I bring her along? And I had to say, well, I don't know how to say this, mate, but you haven't had a lot of luck, have you? How long's this one going to be around for?
So you're saying I do mind. I don't think you should be able to bring guests.
Was it Hellman?
No, it wasn't Hellman.
Man Mountain?
No, it wasn't the Dazzler either.
Did it last?
It wasn't Smack Daddy.
Tommy? Who else could
Was
have
it Trasher?
No, it wasn't Trasher.
And it wasn't the Ward.
No, it wasn't
It's
the
the
Ward.
Ward
Wasn't
for
Ferreira. No way.
Who's the
The
word?
old D-Ward.
Anyway,
Like what?
it didn't work. And I could tell at the wedding too. She was what's that word? How do you describe her? A bit of a pest.
In what way?
Oh, just all over him, and he just wasn't into it. And I said, "Mate, why'd you bring her anyway? Let's not worry about that. It's about my day." So that kind of finished after the wedding. So
It's a lot of money.
waste of a seat.
Can we get to Joe in French's Forest? Who did you waste a wedding invite on, Joe?
So I wasted my wedding invite on my mother-in-law, who never approved of the wedding to begin with. And she came, she complained the whole time. She didn't eat or drink anything, didn't talk to anyone, sat outside and smoked the whole time.
What a selfish mole, Joe.
What?
Joe,
Just don't come.
Can I bring up?
Right, don't come.
Can I bring up my pop, Stan? He was exactly the same. It was his second wedding to Beatrice, and she just darted for 4 hours out the back of Pop's house. And there was this moment where I remember this distinctly as a kid. I looked over and Pop was on a chair, on a dining chair, Kate, and he had his hands on his head going, what have I done?
Oh, no.
Like, he was
On the day.
over it. On the day of his wedding. That's supposed to be the happiest day of your life.
Hey, where's that tobacco-covered human? Drag her back in,
I
please.
think the mother-in-law needs to stay at home. If you don't approve, stay at home. Don't come and try and
What a
control
stinker.
everyone with your attitude and your manipulation.
Well said, Kate.
Alison in Borkham Hills, who did you waste a wedding invite on?
My sister-in-law, who decided to give birth the morning of our wedding.
Selfish timing.
So selfish. I mean, who's more selfish, the sister-in-law or the baby?
But probably the baby.
Both, I
Yeah.
think.
I hope you stop talking to them, Alison.
So, Alison,
I
did
know.
did the in-laws have to leave at some stage? That could be positive in a way.
Well, the next morning it was a location wedding, and my mother, because it was my brother who had the baby, and
Yeah.
it was my mother who did not stay for the breakfast that she chose to put on for my out-of-town guests because she wanted to go and see the baby. So I got a bit angry that the whole weekend wasn't about me.
Alison, can I ask, did you announce the engagement before your brother announced his pregnancy?
Yes, we
There you
did.
go.
Yes, yes,
Oh, there you
yes.
go.
Okay,
They shouldn't
there you
have been
go.
doing it. There you
Going
go.
first.
That's right.
Tim in
Selfish.
Paddington, who did you waste an invite on, Tim?
I wasted my one on a photographer actually because it was a friend of a friend,
Yep.
as you do. So rather than 5,000, I could get it for 500. My wife, don't worry, he's going to be top notch. And he got extremely drunk, and the only job he had to do was to take the main photo. And he mistakenly put my aunt and uncle next to me rather than my mother and father in the main photo. And then I didn't understand what was going on until it was too late. And then afterwards, he just came back casually and said, "Oh, have you got a photo of your mum and dad?" And so I sent one across, and he cut out the faces and tried to Photoshop the faces of them onto my aunt and uncle.
Oh, mate.
What an idiot!
I'd love to see those photos. We had a stinker of a photographer too.
Say 4,500 though, so you can't go wrong.
Well, yeah, he's the
Everyone's a
real
winner.
winner.
Bit of Photoshop, eh? Never heard anybody, Timmy.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
This is exciting. We're getting into book club.
We are getting into book club, but we're also getting into a bit of wellness. And I know, Whipper, you always talk about, you're always
Fiend for wellness.
well, bringing stories to the table about how you'd like to achieve wellness. Maybe even
Why are you rubbing your chest?
Because this means
that
something.
means wellness.
This means something to me. It's kind
Means
of
a lot
like
to me too.
because I think that the feeling of wellness kind of comes from here,
within the heart.
It doesn't come from your head. Now you don't have to, drink your own bodily fluids or go on a particular diet.
So stop doing that.
Stop doing that. I mean, and so early in the morning, how gross. No, I wanted to tell you about this book that I've been listening to on Audible. It's called How to Train Your Mind by Chris Bailey.
Yeah.
And I haven't thought much of meditation in the past. But end of last year, I did do a meditation course, went away for the weekend, and then never did anything about it. But I'm back on the Chris Bailey train, and he's written the book. He also narrates it. He's got the most soothing voice, and it's this candid take on productivity and the benefits of meditation. And what I will say, when you talk about meditation and how you're going to fit it into your day, you think, well, how on earth am I going to do that? But Train Your Brain or Train Your Mind features guided meditations that are designed to fit around a very busy schedule.
Love that.
I feel very strongly about this. So if you do want to be part of my book club, call now. I've got 2 Audible gift cards for the first 2 callers. So you can listen for the first 3 months on me, start your year right along with me, and discover Audible's incredible range of well-being titles at audible.com.au/well-being.
Good work, Kate.
Rub your chest while you're doing that.
Because, Tommy,
I know you're not listening, but at least listen to Audible. Listen to the book.
Yeah,
my whole life revolves around mental fitness now and keeping yourself happy. You know what I mean?
Well, you've worked with Whipper for 12 years.
So
I'm surprised you haven't got on board yet.
It's really hard.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Graham in Penrith, what do you want to talk about this morning, Gro?
Oh, g'day, guys. I just want to tell you how much of a shocker I had yesterday.
Oh, great. Let it out.
I had heard through the grapevine that Taylor Swift was going to be out at Sydney Zoo, so I grabbed my daughter, put her in the car, and we're driving out there hoping we could get a glimpse of her.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to go and get some fuel, so I pull into the servo, and I proceeded to fill my diesel ute with unleaded fuel.
Oh my God, you were drunk on Swift, weren't you?
Mate. You've got no idea.
How long you had the car, Graham?
I've had it probably 3 or 4 months, but the thing is, I fill my wife's car. My wife never puts petrol in the car. I fill her car, and that's premium unleaded. And the ute's diesel, and I just had a brain fade. And
oh my God!
Taylor Swift. Tell you what,
you are a new engine,
costing you a fortune, Graham. You can't you can't get tickets, you can't get merchandise. You've now filled up your frigging car with premium unleaded. Graham, this is you're not even going to get to see it. You know what you are? You are in the running, young man. So we could be calling you back with tickets.
Tommy, have we got a new car to give away as well?
Fingers crossed.
How much does it cost to fix?
No.
Yeah, what do you do, Gray? You got to drain it.
I'll tell you what. No, I tell you what. I just want to tell you that I want to put a shout out to Wrong Fuel Rescue and Felix at Wrong Fuel Rescue, mate.
Wrong Fuel Rescue.
I was stuck on the side of the road. They come out. They drain the tank. This is even after I drove it. They drained the tank. They flushed the lines. They filled it back up with diesel. Yeah, so it wasn't as much as a new engine, but it was a sting in the back pocket for sure.
Well, you must take comfort in there's a company called Wrong Fuel Rescue. There's enough people doing it that there's a service.
Do you know,
great.
It's basic yet effective, isn't it? Very, very effective.
Wrong Fuel Rescue.
Let's go to Shazorn. I think it's the first time we've ever had a Shazorn on the show. Hi, Shazorn.
Hi, how are you guys?
Did we say that correctly? Did we pronounce that correctly?
You actually said it quite well.
Oh, Shazorn's on Shazam again. Hang on a minute.
That's really bad.
Thank you. Best I had. It's very early, so we accept that. What do you want to talk about, Shazam?
Well, so I was talking to a producer and he's like, what are you doing on the weekend? I said, I really want to go to Taylor Swift because you don't want to know what my weekend job is. And he said, well, tell the guys about your weekend job.
What is it?
And I said, well, I'm a bouncer, but I need you to guess where I am a bouncer.
You're a bouncer.
So where at? Can we ask Shazorn? Can you tell us where you're a bouncer at?
The Taylor Swift concert.
Because I think that's what makes the story funny, is I'm a bouncer at church on the weekend.
At church?
I am like the door bitch at a church.
Have you ever had to do anything?
Oh, far out. I have to do stuff I have actually started going to church now with gloves, like medical plastic gloves.
Yeah.
I often have to keep, streakers out. We've had streakers come down the bloody...
What are you talking about?
What, to disrupt the service?
They interrupt the service. You can't make this stuff up. I've come up with my own rules, no one is allowed that carries cats on their shoulder or a musical instrument of their own. Because they're the troublemakers. We've obviously got the basics, no visible alcohol on premises, and you have to wear clothes. But
I was going to say, Shazorn, do you have a lot of people that party all night and they come all the way through into the morning?
Absolutely. It's almost like a destination church now because people are like, let's go and try and get in at that place because it's that crazy South African on the door. Let's try and get past her. God. I was just thinking, far out. It'd be much nicer to be with Taylor Swift than that.
I didn't know that churches were open 24/7.
No, we're not. We're not 24/7. I'm only there when the church is actually open.
Well,
so
Fitzy went to a church, Shazorn, one time. Didn't you, Fitz? You found yourself in a church quite late at night.
What are you talking about, mate? Yes, we're a very religious family, Shazorn.
You were there with a girl.
I'm very impressed.
Back row of the church on the old pew.
Thanks for your call, Shazorn. That was beautiful. You're in the running for Taylor Swift. Congratulations. Zali in Cogra. What do you want to talk about, Zali?
So I want to give props to my amazing partner. He'd seen how much I wanted Taylor Swift tickets, and I was giving you guys calls every day, and up to 1,000 calls to try and get in the run. And on Valentine's, he decided to surprise me with some Taylor Swift tickets. I was so excited, over the bloody moon.
That's wild.
I was there taking pictures because I was about to go and tell all our family and friends, and I looked at the ticket numbers, and they're the exact same ticket numbers, and my heart just dropped, and I was like, oh no. And then I reached out to Ticket Tech, and both tickets were scammed.
Oh, you're kidding me. Right, so you realise the tickets were the same tickets, and you realise it was just a print-off. Oh, that is a disaster, Zali. What are you going to do besides call this radio show and beg?
I've been trying to call every night, so my partner gives up his phone every night, so I keep trying to call, and I've been trying to get into every one because it was just that moment when you're so high in the sky and then nothing.
Well, Tommy, what have we got for Zali? Do you want to surprise her with something?
Yeah, it's the Fitzy Whipper and Kate merch pack featuring the Fitzy and Whipper Speedos, the Double Chin Gin, and the Fitzy and Whipper beach towel.
And she's in the running. Zali, congratulations, you're in the running for Taylor Swift tickets.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We're on.
Yeah. All right. It's time for
60-second starts.
Kate Ritchie's I'm Still Standing.
Now. Byron's up this morning from Mascot. He doesn't really give a stuff about the $400 cash. I think he wants the Taylor Swift tickets. You there, Byron?
He definitely does. Hello.
Hi, Byron.
Oh, hi, Byron. Are you feeling lucky?
Really good.
I'm very, very nervous.
Well,
very nervous.
You never know, Byron. The $400 you might be able to snag a ticket last minute with that money, but you got to beat Kate. You got to have the power at the end of 60 seconds. You are going first. You are our guest, Byron. So here we go.
Perfect.
Your 60 seconds starts now. How many rings are there in the Olympic logo, Byron?
5.
Yes. Name a famous mark.
A famous Mark Wahlberg.
Correct. Lisbon is the capital city of which country?
Portugal.
Yes. Fine Line is the 2019 album from which male pop star? Correct. In 2009, Octomum gave birth to how many kids at once?
God, 8?
Yes. In a lacrosse team, how many players are on the field at one time?
9?
No, 6. Kate, The Grinch and The Cat in the Hat are written by who?
Dr. Zeus.
Correct. What year was Taylor Swift born?
89.
Correct. Who hosts Australian Survivor?
That guy, LaPaglia.
Correct. Did Holden cease operations in 2015 or 2020?
2015.
No, 2020. Byron, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher first met as teenagers.
Yeah, Byron. $400.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Oh, my God. Thank you, guys. Oh, my God. was a bit nervous there for a second.
Stolen it, buddy.
Sweating.
400 in the skyrocket and in the running for the Taylor Swift tickets. Congratulations.
Perfect. What a day. Thank you so much, guys.
Good on you.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Divorce. Here we
Okay,
go.
so let's talk about this because, with the statistic of 50% of our marriages end in divorce, I think we've heard for a long
Is
time,
that
haven't
true?
we? Yeah, that was for quite a while, but it's jumped.
Has it?
Not dramatically, but there was a divorce lawyer, and divorce lawyers, I think, are very busy at the moment, especially after the pandemic.
Yeah, they are. A friend of mine has become famous because you know what happens? Couples break up, they know that she's the best in the business, and each party races to get to her first. That's what it's turned into.
Do you know what I've heard as well? Is that apparently some people, when they're going through a divorce or they're breaking up in a marriage, they will get 3 divorce lawyers and ring them and say, look, I'm thinking about using you. So then it takes 3 divorce lawyers out of the running.
Oh, so they can't find another one?
No, because you can't. Because then you can't compete. You can't get your partner. Can't go. Well, I'm sorry, this is a conflict of interest, but your other partner is considering using me.
Right. Okay.
But have a listen to the way that this divorce lawyer explains it. Really, we need to think about this a little bit more. Have a listen to this.
If you break it down fundamentally, 56% of marriages end in divorce. That's the ones that end in divorce. So what percentage stay together for the kids? Or because they don't want to give away half their shit. Another 10%? That's conservative. But let's say 20%. You now have a technology that fails 76% of the time. That's insane. That's more likely than not. 76%. If I told you there's a 76% chance when you walk out the door today you're going to get hit in the head with a bowling ball, you would not go out or you'd wear a helmet for sure. It's literally fits the legal definition of negligence. It's a negligent behavior. Marriage is an inherently negligent activity. It's like owning a lion. Like the likelihood of someone getting hurt seriously. And I would say something. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I still get misty-eyed at weddings. Like I still really, there's something in me that goes like, maybe it'll work out for these two.
He's good. I like him. It's scary to think about when you put it like that, and there's a lot of people, you're right, that are married, but they're not happy, and they just stay together because it's routine and it's easy, and he's right. People don't want to lose half their money in an ugly separation.
He then goes on to explain that you don't need to get married. This is the thing, and it's the ceremony that everybody, dreams of, and I think... For me, it was more... Do you know what? It was celebrating my love for BJ, but it was also... For me, it was just having your family and your closest friends and having one big party.
Yeah, I say, and kicking the footy with thongs on Adelaide Oval.
Yes. That's what it was. Like, it was... When you think about it now, if the tradition of getting married... Yeah. I mean, everyone, it feels like once you're in a relationship for a few years, you then start getting pressure from family members. So when are you going to do it?
I mean, it made sense back in the day. Like if we go back centuries, right? And you go, okay, you need to create the best environment to bring up a child. So you go traditional mother and father, and we bring up a child because it's warm, it's safe, and we've got 2 people to raise this thing that's hard work, and we can give shared advice on how to do that. So that makes sense. But back then, the life expectancy was about 48 years old. If we go back 200 years or 300, 500 years, so you wouldn't live for very long.
I don't know if everyone was dying at 48.
Yeah, you get married around the age of 15. That was sort of the thing to do. Yeah. And by 20, you're an established family, and then you hit your late 30s, and it's like, oh, better retire now. I'm on my way out the door in about 8 years.
But it's fascinating. Do we really need the tradition and the ceremony of getting married when you love somebody so much? Why do you need to do it? Because, let's just say that you found your life partner and you both agreed, let's not get married. If you do have complications and things change, it's not a perfect world, people grow apart. The pressure that you don't, if you're not married, to then say to your family, oh, we broke up, instead of saying, oh, we're getting a divorce, the reaction is so different.
Well, one's legal, isn't it? I mean, it's... You're right, and as a lot of people say, it's just a piece of paper, and it's not like the wedding industry has been ripping people off for years. I mean, they never put their price up when they see a W in front of it. There's no way known. It's all fair and reasonable. It's the same price for a bucks party as it is for a wedding.
Exactly right.
I'm not angry about the cost of it, but if 67 or nudging up to 76%... I mean, there's 4 lads in the room here. You know what I mean, boys? Who's on the way out the door?
Three of us are gone.
Right, who's in the dog box?
Fitz in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.